Hello everyone, and welcome to something that has been requested quite frequently in the past, I'd say, year. It's something that was mentioned repeatedly. You wanted more top 10 lists, and here comes another one. This top 10 list is about my top 10 most complimented fragrances that I have in my particular collection. Now, this video has actually been about 3 years in the making. Even before I actually started creating videos, I would constantly get questions, hey, what fragrances do you have that get the most compliments? Because obviously people wanted to take these fragrances, buy them, and get compliments with them as well. So I've been compiling this list of what fragrances that I have that get the most compliments, and I usually do it based off of, if I wear this once, well, how many compliments do I get per wearing? Almost like an average type ratio that I kind of go through. But I also couple it in with the general overall feeling that people have of a particular fragrance. Many of you see that I do reviews with other fragrances that come across, and I often get the opinion of many people on it. So I kind of mix that together with that as well. Some people will consider anything that's not an unsolicited compliment just not necessary, but for my purposes, I've actually found they are necessary. They're not the true end all be all, but they are helpful and coupled with unsolicited compliments to kind of get you, the feeling of which fragrance is the most complimented. Because there are some scenarios where it might not be appropriate to actually compliment somebody on a particular fragrance. So with that out of the way, just want to cover one more thing, and that's compliments overall in general. Now, compliments with fragrances are tricky because a lot of times the compliment that you're going to get with a particular fragrance extends to your overall presentation rather than just the scent itself. So there are some fragrances that I have that I get compliments for while I'm wearing a suit, but if I'm not wearing a suit, I don't get a compliment with that fragrance, and they might think it even smells pretty average for that. So with that out of the way, just wanted to go ahead and dive into the top 10 list. To start off, I've got a couple of honorable mentions that permeate or that are actually in the list. The first honorable mention is none other than, kind of see it at the edge here, Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. It's Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. This fragrance is a mixture of tobacco, heavy vanilla, very sensual, very dark, very deep. This fragrance, I get the most compliments when I'm wearing with a suit. I usually wear a dark olive suit with this fragrance, with maybe a lighter green shade undershirt along with a tie. And with that composition, I have never failed to get at least 2 compliments when I've worn that. So it goes excellent with suit and tie. But on the flip side, when I'm not wearing a suit and tie, this fragrance has never gotten me a compliment outside of not wearing a suit and tie. So Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille, honorable mention, very good for me when I wear a suit and tie, but other than that, not really at all. So the next fragrance that we have here is a fragrance that is relatively new in my collection, about a year now. It was introduced to me by Frunkinator and Luis. It's none other than Maison Francis Kurkdjian Aqua Universalis Forte. Sorry, the light here is kind of bad. It's just really light on it, but yes, I'm going to be doing a review on this one particular very soon. It's very citrusy, has a very light, airy feel, has almost a little bit of a floral feel to it. An excellent fragrance that's great for the summer. This is actually in the heavy running for one of my favorite fragrances for the summertime. This fragrance, even though it's a little bit more on the expensive side, the same thing with the Tom Ford, you're probably going to pay over $200 for a bottle of like this, but despite that fact, it does get great compliments in very hot weather. In very hot weather and very casual situations is usually when I choose to wear this, and in that type of weather, it gets great compliments. Now, there are 2 versions of this. This is the Forte version, which is basically the more concentrated version, and there's also a cologne version of this that they have out, which doesn't last as long. It's not as heavy, not as sharp, but it's still a great fragrance in itself. So honorable mention, Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Aqua Universalis Forte. Doing a review on it soon. The next fragrance that we have that's an honorable mention is another fragrance that I've talked about quite frequently that gets a lot of compliments, and that is L'Odyssée Boron by Issey Miyake. This fragrance I've had for a while now, actually. And this fragrance also gets great compliments year-round. I usually use it in a scenario of like casual, when I don't have anything else to wear, or when I'm, kind of just on the fence of what to wear in any season. I'll pull this out. It's a very sharp, sour citrus type of a scent that actually comes up. Lasts a long time, and which is pretty uncharacteristic for a citrus type scent, which really makes this one special. So even 6, 7 hours, 8 hours plus out of wearing this fragrance, you're still gonna have people who smell you, notice you, and give you compliments with this fragrance. So great casual scent, excellent. Check this one out. And it's not on the pricey side like the previous two that I actually mentioned. You can actually purchase this one for probably around 70-ish, anywhere between $50 and $70. So well worth it. L'Issey by Issey Miyake. Now, onto the actual list. Coming in at number 10. This list, even before I kind of get into it, it's dominated by designer scents, because as far as compliments go, they still get more compliments than a lot of my more expensive fragrances. I enjoy my more expensive fragrances more than a lot of my designers, but the designers are still the king of the rings in terms of compliments. So well affordable for anyone. Let's dive right into the list. Coming in at number 10, we've got Dior Homme Intense by Christian Dior. This fragrance gets excellent compliments in the intimate setting, the date setting, or the going out. It's a very sensual, almost lipstick-like feel that has a lot of iris in this particular fragrance. It doesn't smell too flowery though. It almost smells like lipstick almost. As strange as that sounds, I thought no way that this could work, but I tried it out and I saw what everyone else was actually talking about. When I was wearing this, it got compliments, and I remember walking down through Times Square with a group of my friends and came across a foul odor and was like, oh man, that smells horrible. Everyone but Cody still smells great, and that's how I had this applied. I actually applied this pretty liberally. I don't go too heavy on it. I usually go about 4 or 5 sprays, but I try to get into my main body type. So I'll hit here, maybe I'll hit the head, and then I'll hit kind of closer to the body for this fragrance. So it does excellent, lasts a long time. Pick this up at Christian Dior's site or from any of those other places. But Dior Homme Intense coming in at number 10. Coming in at number 9, we have Chanel's Platinum Egoiste. We have the bottle right here. I actually purchased this one secondhand, but either way, even though I've had this fragrance for, I don't even think for a year, this fragrance has still garnered a lot of compliments with it. It's a very simplistic fragrance. It's almost elegant, woody. It can easily be a signature scent. You can wear this in any type of situation or scenario. It's very versatile. It can be worn, like I said, in any type of scenario, and it gets a good deal of compliments. So long as you're nice and put together, you don't have to be dressed up or too badly dressed down or anything like that. But it does come off very nice. It comes off very, I want to say, almost masterful in its presentation. That it kind of gives you a sense of almost regality when you're wearing this particular fragrance. So Chanel Platinum Egoiste coming in at number 9. Excellent scent, can be picked up from the Chanel boutique, or I'm not sure if any online retailers have it, but you can pick it up for a reasonable price. Coming in at number 8, we have my personal favorite scent. It doesn't beat out the scents before it in terms of compliments, but for the scenario that I wear it in, it does excellent. None other than Musc Ravageur by Frederic Malle. Maurice Rousseau is the parfumé of this particular fragrance, and this fragrance does excellent in sensual settings and date settings and settings where, sorry about my phone, and settings where it's expected that you're going to be a little bit closer, or even in club settings. This fragrance does excellent in that. Any other setting outside of that, I haven't gotten any compliments with it. Like just walking on the street, and I have tried it in casual situations, doesn't really get compliments in there. But in those settings, wow, Musc Ravageur does an excellent job. Very creamy type scent. Starts off with some strong clove, then turns them down into a very beautiful vanilla scent. Very beautiful cinnamon scent that kind of comes in it. Very sensual, very exotic, very strong. Be careful how you apply this particular fragrance. If you overdo it, you will choke people out. You may offend some people when doing it. So it's very important that you don't overdo Musc Ravageur. If you put on 1, 2, 3 sprays maximum, you're good for the night. This will last you easily 24 hours, will be close to your skin after that 24-hour period, but it is an excellent scent to wear for those purposes. So Musc Ravageur, great going out night scent type scent fragrance. Check it out. A little bit more on this expensive side though. It's going to run you, I think it ran me about $150 for this particular fragrance. So a little bit on the expensive side. Now, coming in at number 7, we have another classic, and that is none other than Le Malle by Jean-Paul Gaultier. The customary bottle. Many of you are already familiar with this scent. This scent is a minty blast that has lavender in it as well. And as far as compliments go, never fails for compliments. I'm actually coupling another fragrance with this as well that smells very similar, that I've actually smelled on people. Thought I was smelling Le Malle in them, but it was actually this, and that is none other than Cuba Gold, which is a very close fragrance to Le Malle. Close enough that I can't even really tell the difference when I'm smelling it on people. When I smell it just here, I can smell the difference. But on people, they're both very similar. Both excellent, both compliment getters. This is a great scent for not only those intimate scenarios or those club scenario type areas, but it's also excellent for casual and for work. So it's a very versatile fragrance that does well in almost any scenario that you go through. The only thing I'd be cautioned against with this is be careful on the sprays. I usually go about 3-4 sprays on this one, but you don't want to overdo this one because this is another one that can easily offend people. Just be wary of the top note. The top note is a little bit harsh, that may turn some people off, but after about an hour of this particular scent, it really turns into something very beautiful that a lot of people like and will get you noticed. So coming at number 7, we've got Le Malle and Cuba Gold, or Le Malle and Cuba Gold. And Cuba Gold, just to mention, is a cheaper alternative to this. This will run you about anywhere between $50 and $70. You can probably get it for even cheaper than that. But this will run you about $5 to $15 maximum for something like this. They both smell very similar. Just be careful with this. You're going to find a lot of knockoffs with Le Malle, so try and get it from somewhere that you know that it's authentic. All right, those out of the way. Let's move on to number 6. We have none other than Green Irish Tweed for number 6. Comes in the black bottle, made by Creed. This scent is a compliment getter, and even people who are not familiar with a lot of niche fragrances know Green Irish Tweed. When talking with a lot of people who don't know a lot about fragrances, one question that they did ask me though was, "Oh, do you have Green Irish Tweed?" And they knew about it. In particular because a lot of celebrities also wear Green Irish Tweed. It's a notorious scent. It's a very fresh, green, spring-like scent that is really perfect for the springs, perfect for the summer, perfect for hot weather. A fragrance that does excellent in casual situations and in work situations. Very versatile. The only time that I probably don't actually wear this one is within those, night out type fragrances. So I don't wear this one to the club, even though you can. I don't wear this one to the club, and I don't wear it anywhere else. But Green Irish Tweed, excellent compliment getter. And for those of you who might not be willing to pay $200 plus for this, you can probably get this discounted, but this does cost around, I think it's around $280 or something like that for the 4-ounce bottle for Creed. You can go with something that smells very similar, and people will have a hard time telling the difference. Davidoff's Coolwater. This fragrance smells very similar to Green Irish Tweed. A lot of you are more familiar with Coolwater than you are with Green Irish Tweed. They do smell similar. They both get a lot of compliments. The only downside is many people are very familiar with both scents, but that does not take away from the compliments that these both get. It's not necessarily, saying, hey, just because these are worn a lot, they're not going to get compliments. No, they're definitely they get great compliments, and this one's more affordable if you can't afford Green Irish Tweed, but they're both excellent in terms of compliment getters. So that's Green Irish Tweed and Davidoff's Coolwater coming in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, we have a fragrance that is kind of surprising, I'm guessing, for some of the more seasoned veterans, but that from what I've seen has gotten a ton of compliments. I actually don't like this fragrance all too well. In fact, it's really not one of my favorite fragrances. It just comes off as really weird to me. And that's none other than Body Kouros by Yves Saint Laurent. Body Kouros is a scent that's almost got a eucalyptus medicinal type vibe to me. And to me, it just smells really weird. But as far as women go, they absolutely love this scent. I've worn it 2-3 times to work, and I've gotten compliments on it. I've asked women what they've thought about this particular scent, and not a single one has actually disliked this fragrance that I've come across. And I've asked literally about 150 plus women. The worst compliment that I got was, oh, it kind of smells okay with this particular fragrance. But I'm sure there's women out there who don't like this fragrance, but from what I've seen, they just love this fragrance. Now, as far as men go, men on the other hand seem to be almost universally in the other direction, and they don't like the scent of Body Kouros. And I'm kind of along the same lines with it. But if you want compliments, especially from the opposite, I'm not sure why I said opposite, but opposite sex, if you want compliments, check out Body Kouros by Yves Saint Laurent. Excellent scent, a little bit more toned down. I'd suggest you use it for casual situations and actually work situations. It does excellent in work situations as well. So check out Body Kouros by Yves Saint Laurent. Coming in at number 4, we have the bestseller in fragrances for, I think it's like the past, ever since it's actually been out. The number 1 selling fragrance, yes, for those of you who don't know, it is none other than Aqua di Gio by Giorgio Armani. Very excellent compliment getter. Even when I still do wear this is almost one of my go-to scents in terms of spring and summer. I mean, not necessarily go-to, but it's one of my fallback scents. So if I don't have anything else that I can think of that I feel like wearing, I'll reach for Aqua di Gio. Or something that smells similar to it that I've also reviewed is Perry Ellis Red. These two smell so similar. This one just has a little bit more of a spicy note. More people actually like this than this, but this is more well known than this is. So Aqua di Gio and Perry Ellis Red really can be used for any type of scenario. Very versatile. You can use it for going out to the clubs. You can use it for casual situations. You can use it for work. It really does excellent in that sense, and can easily be the signature scent if you're looking for one that gets a lot of compliments. The only downside to this is, yes, it's the number 1 selling fragrance, so a lot of people have this scent. That's the only thing to go about it. So if you're keen on that, if you don't want too many people to have your scent, the best alternative I can answer is get this one, which does smell very similar to this, just has a little bit more of a spicy feeling to it. So check out Perry Ellis Red. If not, Aqua di Gio by Giorgio Armani. Now, coming in at number 3, we have another scent that has made some of my lists, and that is Dolce & Gabbana The One. This scent gets a lot of compliments from both males, both females, gets a lot of unsolicited comments. I've worn this to work, I've worn this going out to the club, I've worn this in casual situations, although in casual situations it hasn't really gotten me that many compliments. I think maybe 1 or 2 in casual situations. The far most have been at work and have been at clubbing situations or type things like that. The only downfall to this fragrance is some people have reported longevity issues, that it doesn't last long on them. On this, on me, it actually lasts perfectly fine. I actually wear this one year round. In fact, in the spring and summer is when I find that Dolce & Gabbana's The One does best. The winter comes out off as a little weak. You can actually purchase this one, same thing probably around $50, I believe, that you can nab this fragrance around. Oh, the other fragrances that I actually mentioned, like Giorgio Armani's Aqua di Gio, as well as Perry Ellis, you can also purchase. Perry Ellis you can actually purchase pretty cheap for around, I think it's around $20 now, whereas the Giorgio Armani fragrance you're going to purchase for around $60, $70. So keep that in mind. But this one, about $50 that you can nab this fragrance for. So very affordable. So Dolce & Gabbana's The One. Now for number 2. This fragrance I have mentioned time and time again. It is one of my favorites. But even at that out of the way in terms of compliments are wild with this particular fragrance, and second only to my number 1, and that is Allure Homme Edition Blanche. This fragrance, wow, gets a ton of compliments. This gets compliments ranging from not only do you smell good, but where can I buy that particular scent? Where can I buy this fragrance? I want to smell like that. That's the type of compliments you're going to get from Edition Blanche. You're going to get that from men. You're going to get that from women. You're going to get that from everyone who ranges the gamut. Everyone who smelled this scent on me absolutely loves it. They want some of it. They want to get this scent. Allure Homme Edition Blanche is a huge, heavy compliment getter, and second to only one fragrance that's in my arsenal. The one issue that I have with Edition Blanche is sometimes the longevity on this one is spotty. So sometimes I'll get 4 hours longevity, sometimes I'll get 9 hours longevity. So for that, I usually carry a little decant of this so I can just reapply it at any time during the day. I've noticed that within the hour of reapplying it is usually when I get the most compliments. So the top notes are really what take people in on this particular fragrance, and they're just divine. So Allure Homme Edition Blanche, it's actually now starting to get a little bit on the expensive side. This is the 3.4 ounce, and I believe this now retails for around like 90 or like 80 something on the Chanel site. You can have a little bit of a hard time getting it elsewhere, but Allure Homme Edition Blanche, check it out. Excellent compliment getter. Number 2 on my compliment list. Now, what is number 1 on my compliment list? If you've been watching my reviews, if you might have seen one review where I mention it, it's going to be a little bit surprising to you. But it is none other than Express Reserve. Yes, it's a fragrance that comes from a company. As you can see, I'm going towards the halfway mark. I'm actually looking for a place where I can purchase I'm probably going to buy a 3.4 bottle of this fragrance. This fragrance is easily the most complimented fragrance that I have in my arsenal by far. And by compliments, not only do people want to purchase this fragrance for themselves, but on top of it, they think it's a much more expensive selling fragrance. Whenever I tell them that it's Express Reserve, that I've been wearing Express Reserve, they're often taken aback. They jump back and they're like, whoa, I can't believe it. I thought it would be something like a Creed or something like a fragrance that I'd pay like $300 for. No, this fragrance cost me around $30. I think it was even cheaper just because I got it part of when I was buying some other clothes. But it is a highly complimented fragrance, my easily number 1 complimented fragrance. It's got rum in it. It's got some spicy notes. It's got no, actually, I'm sorry, not rum. It's got brandy in it, some spicy notes. It's got some woods in it. It's very sensual, very inviting, very alluring. It really does excellent in those type of scenarios. So Express Reserve, check this one out. This is discontinued though. You may have a little bit of a hard time buying it, but because it was so cheap, because it was one of those fragrances, if you search online, you shouldn't have too much trouble buying it. So yes, Express Reserve, my number 1 most complimented fragrance that I have. If you have any questions, if you want to know how to get these particular fragrances, if you're interested in buying them, feel free, do any searches, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. So yes, that's my top 10 most complimented fragrances. Have a great day, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you later.